Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing a book review of Supergiants by Kyle Flemner. This is a book that came out April 8th, 2025 from Woolsack and Wynn / Bookwriter Press. It is poetry. I received this arc from a publicist for receipt writing in exchange for a fair review. A strange and almost surreal collection, Supergiants takes us out into the vastness of our universe, if only to reel us back in to look critically at ourselves. What is it about? For millennia, humanity has looked upward and traced stories in the night sky, projecting our human wants and desires outward. In Supergiants, Kyle Flemner turns his gaze in the other direction. What does our reach for the stars say about us? Working with the technical language of engineering and astrophysics, Flemner reorients the reader within our galaxy. Families of asteroids expand to contain their physical attributes, the mythic stories of their names, and the histories of real people. We see the course of lunar exploration through the fate of the flags planted on each mission. Nebulae, blue giants, and black holes enfold us. Interspersed throughout are a series of found collage poems that visually reconfigure the elements of space exploration and our understanding of it. Through it all, Flemner shows how we turn to the stars to make sense of ourselves and our place in the universe. Honestly, I think the jacket copy has more words in it than the book. I'm obviously exaggerating, but this is a very, very short book. In truth, you could read this thing in a solid half an hour if you rushed, but I think you could stretch it out, as I did, reading in snatches here and there. I find this is the way that I like to read poetry anyway, so this kind of worked for me. The thing is, this book isn't exactly poetry until the end. The first half, I will admit, had me kind of scratching my head. I love space, but what I love is the exploration aspect, the strange new worlds idea, like the kind of Star Trek-y Star Wars aspects of space, the kind of being full of possibilities, a place that humbles us and broadens our understandings of ourselves. And while, space as space can do that, science space, I'm not as interested in the science aspects. So the first half of this book, which is composed of stuff like pictures of sky charts paired with poetry with lots of visual breaks, I will admit didn't work for me too much. I found it interesting to try to figure out what it was doing, but it didn't work for me kind of in how I enjoy reading poetry. And of course, this is just a me thing. I know a lot of people like this kind of stylized poems. I'm more of an enjambment kind of poetry person. I don't know. Blame my university professors who introduced me to William Carlos Williams. I don't know. That's kind of how I like poetry to go. I'm not fond of iambic pentameter, but I'm also not super fond of the kind of stuff that is in here, which is, let me find one for example, like this kind of stuff, how it's kind of like, this one, oh my gosh, this, how it's kind of broken up like that. I understand why it's done like that, and I appreciate kind of the thought behind it. It's just not like my particular vibe of poetry, and that's fine. I just want to kind of explain that. As another example, there's these poems that look like this. They're not really poems. It's just like asteroids or star charts, I guess. And then, I can't remember, I read this like a few days ago. And then kind of like locations on Earth where you can view this. I think that's really interesting. But I'm like, am I going to use this in my life? I don't know. I guess I could plot all these somewhere on Google and try to go to them. I mean, that might be interesting. I mean, maybe they're in Canada because this is a Canadian book. Now I'm actually really interested in this. Anyway, I think that's the kind of fun thing about poetry and these kind of experimental books is that sometimes they can spark interest in ways that you didn't expect. The last section, though, consists of poetry more to my liking, and I thought those were absolutely fantastic. These took different types of stars, for example, red dwarfs, and prescribed them human traits or more broadly human archetypes or kind of social movements. Red dwarf, for example, was about resistance, or at least that was how I took it. Blue giants and red supergiants were also two of my favorite poems as well. These had such evocative, deeply descriptive lines that brought forth images that were easy to picture, as well as interesting comparisons and similes. I found these poems absolutely stellar, to use a relevant pun. So yeah, if you like poetry, the last section is really great. If you like more experimental stuff, or if you just really like space, you'll enjoy the whole thing. I thought it was really interesting. I haven't read a really kind of funky, interesting book like this in a while, and so thank you so much to the publicist and to the publisher for the review copy. I really liked it. Thank you.